On the upfront segment tonight, Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson with 1 week until Election Day. Secretary Benson, we say good evening to you and thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, my pleasure.
Let's start with this late news of the day. The judge blocking your ban on open carry of firearms near Michigan polling places on Election Day. Attorney General Dana Nessel will appeal this ruling. How confident are you in an appeal?
Well, I'm not going to comment on the appeal or ongoing litigation, other than to say that as the state's chief election officer, I have a responsibility and a very clear authority to protect voters and to ensure they're free from illegal harassment and intimidation. And so I'm going to continue to use every tool at my disposal to ensure that, and work with our clerks and our election workers to protect everyone's safety at the polls on Election Day.
There is anxiety about possible unrest and intimidation by some at the polls, certainly. How prepared are we for Election Day?
We're prepared on a number of levels. One, we've been working with local law enforcement, particularly in the areas where we see the most potential for problems. I'll also have a team in the field on Election Day as well. Voters will be safe, they will be protected, and we will rapidly respond to and address any issues that occur that amount to intimidation or threats to voters on Election Day. But if anyone's worried, you still have until Monday to vote early. You can vote absentee simply by going to your township or city clerk's office, picking up a ballot, returning it right then and there, or at your local drop box. And millions of citizens have already done that. So we also want citizens to know their options, and you don't have to wait until Election Day to vote this year. You can vote absentee ahead of time.
All right, we'll talk more about that. In the meantime, the NAACP said today they'll be out with lawyers to make sure there's no voter intimidation in Detroit on Election Day. Do you welcome the NAACP's involvement?
I welcome transparency and at the polls and protection at the polls. So we'll work with anyone who wants to partner with us to ensure those goals are met. And we recognize that community leaders have a unique role to play in protecting the sanctity of our precincts, protecting the security of the polls. So that said, my focus is on making sure every voter knows their rights and knows their options to vote. And I'm going to continue to get the word out to voters all across the state and assure them if they do choose to vote on Election Day, they'll be safe, their health will be protected with poll workers wearing masks, gloves, and a hand sanitizer and everything in place, social distancing and the like, so that people can feel confident that voting in person on Election Day will be a positive experience that they can be proud of.
There were some irregularities in counting ballots in Detroit during the August primary. Your office is supporting the city's effort for November. Do you expect things to be smoother on Election Day?
I do. In particular, we've created shifts for the absentee counting board workers in Detroit to ensure that a lot of the workers becoming overtired and simply leaving, which was part of the problem in August, doesn't happen again. And we'll also have a significant number of people, including Chris Thomas, the state's longtime director of elections, who served in that role for many years, in place on Election Day to help answer questions and ensure our new security protocols are followed. And we're continuing to train new election workers for those absentee counting board roles to again ensure fresh eyes, focus on Election Day, and that all security protocols are followed so we can trust the results.
More than 3 million voters have requested absentee ballots, with more than, I guess, just over 2 million already returned. Are you concerned that 1 million ballots are still outstanding right now, a week out? And what is your advice tonight for voters who may still be holding their absentee ballot?
If you still have your ballot, return it to your local drop box or your township or city clerk's office, and you can get the location of both by entering your voter information at michigan.gov/vote. On top of that, the numbers are actually quite good. We've got about 72% ballots that have been requested have been returned already. That's actually quite high. Those return rates are higher than we've ever seen in past elections. So we not only see record numbers of people voting absentee this year, but people are voting early, returning their ballots as soon as they can. And that bodes really well to ensure accurate results and a fair count on Election Day.
You've said you expect the vote in Michigan to be counted by Friday of election week. Is that still the case?
Well, it's our estimate based on the fact that we're anticipating we'll have over 3 million ballots to count. We can't begin counting them until 7 a.m. on Election Day. So basic math would indicate it's going to take about 80 hours to go through all of those ballots. Now we've increased efficiencies, doubled or tripled the number of voting machines in some areas, so we may get those results in sooner. And from the moment the polls close on election day until we have those final tabulation of unofficial results, I'll continue to update you all and the public about where we are in the process so that people can know exactly what's happening, exactly how far we are and how many more ballots we've got left to count, so that at the end of the day, the results will be accurate and we can trust that they're a reflection of the will of the people.
A week to go. Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, thank you again for your time tonight.